Hello and welcome to the Mindful Movement series. My name is Monique Lerington and together we'll be practicing for 30 minutes a mindful movement session which will be conducted on the floor. So all you'll need today is a blanket or a yoga mat if you have one, perhaps a couple of pillows from the bed, a cushion, and you might also wish to bring a blanket as well, just for the end of the practice or for some extra propping, which is always very useful to have to cushion some of the effects of being on the ground. So finding a comfortable position, we are going to lie down. So I've set up like this with a yoga bolster and a cushion. I'm just going to pop the cushion to the side for the moment because I will come back to that afterwards during this practice. The intention of this practice today is allowing ourselves as best as we can to drop back in and tune back in with awareness and kindness and trust and patience to come back to the body with that awareness of the sensations as we move. The movements will be very slow and deliberate today so that we can sort of pause and stop lingering with the various body sensations and body parts as we move from shape to shape. So let's begin, and taking a lying down position to start off with. I have a bolster here which I find really lovely to have underneath my knees, particularly if there's any lower back issues. And if you don't have a bolster, you can certainly use a cushion or cushions or a blanket rolled up for underneath the knees. I'm going to lie down onto the floor and join me when you're ready. And as you come down to the floor, just find a really comfortable space, one that you know you can maintain for a little bit longer here today. Perhaps moving the legs out a little bit wider, shuffling through the shoulders and the hips, and maybe even jiggling a little bit just to land into the body. And then taking the arms out to the side with the palms, if you like, if it feels right for you, facing up towards the sky. And remembering throughout these mindful movement sessions that when we practice with kindness and care and attention to the body. So noticing if sensations become difficult, or if there's any pain or numbness or tingling, then we might wish to take note of this and certainly move out of anything that feels risky. If it feels a little bit edgy and that's okay for you without feeling risky, then feel free to stay and explore the sensation of unpleasantness. And always remembering to come back to the body and being guided by the sensations in the body. So if something doesn't feel right, we can shift and move the shape. So taking a moment to just drop in here now. And as you lay down here, begin to bring your awareness now onto the whole body. And just noticing as you start to tune in, start opening your awareness, expanding this awareness into the whole body. What might be here for you now? You might choose to close down the eyes, or if you feel particularly tired or heavy, maybe keeping the eyes open with a soft fuzzy gaze to keep some alertness and aliveness in the body, with that awareness hovering over the consciousness and just being awake and aware to what's happening in this present moment. And as you start to shine the light of your awareness onto the whole body, Just gathering here, noticing what sensations can be felt most vividly. Sensations are here for you now. Just placing your attention here on the body as it is from wherever you are. Perhaps you might notice some sensations in the upper body, residual sensations from the day, or if it's the morning for you, perhaps noticing if there's any tightness or tension or holding or gripping through the shoulders, the face or the jaw. Just becoming awake and alert to the sensations in the upper body. You might notice as you start to open your awareness here, this moment, the body, the whole body lying here and being cradled by the earth. So feeling that support underneath the body. Perhaps this is a sensation that you're waking up to now. Or maybe you're feeling the lower spine and the buttocks, the back body here, and just noticing any sensations. Perhaps you might be noticing some sensations of coolness or warmth, depending on the temperature of the room as it moves around the body. And now just gently starting to move your awareness onto the breath. Noticing how the breath is for you today. Perhaps noticing the rhythm of the breath as it moves in and out of the body. Maybe noticing the quality of the breath. Perhaps it's short and sharp. Maybe it's long and smooth. No matter what is showing up in the breath and the body, just acknowledging this is the opportunity to be here with the breath and body. Just noticing what's here, not needing to fix or change the body or the shape or the breath, but just observing how it is for you, moment to moment. And as we begin to start to invite in some movement, becoming aware of your fingers, fingertips and the fingers and the joints and the palms of the hands, and just giving them a little wiggle, just to remind yourself that they're there, that they're attached, they're part of you, part of the body. Wiggling the fingers, waking up the body, sensing, feeling your way down into the body. And I'm going to do the same with the toes. So just wiggling the toes, maybe wiggling the feet through the ankles, maybe just getting a sense of how it feels to move into the toes, the base of the foot and the ankles. And then I'm going to start to take a little bit more movement and notice how that feels in the body. So we're going to bend at the elbows and start to move the arms upright. So keeping the elbows and the upper arms connected to earth, but just moving and hinging from the elbows and reaching the fingertips up towards the sky. So we're just going to get a little bit of movement here. And then again, wiggling through the fingers, maybe rolling through the wrists. Noticing if there's any creaks or clicking. Just moving through the fascia. So moving through the joints, the white tissue of the body, and notice how that feels for you today. And then flipping the palms up towards the sky and then slowly dropping them back down towards the wrists. So we're just going to flip, see what it feels like, if there's any tightness or tension here in the joint, muscles, what it feels like to move in this way. Just noticing what's happening in the body and how it feels to be with this movement. And then from here, we're going to slowly reach the arms across one another. So crisscrossing the arms and taking a little cuddle here. So as we cuddle in and take the arms across one another, holding on to the opposite shoulders, we're just going to take a little roll from side to side. So just a little very soft cuddle, just a nurturing little cuddle, and stretching and feeling that sense of tensioning down the length of the arms. And then you might like to crisscross in the opposite direction as well. Just crisscrossing over and getting a little bit of movement in the upper body to notice what it's like to stretch over the skin of the back body, the shoulder blades, to hug the arms across, and just sensing how that feels for you now. And then pausing here with the arms crossing, with this sense of connection and touch from the hands. And if at any stage something doesn't feel right or becomes difficult, challenging, we can always come back to a neutral shape, just lying on the mat, arms out down by your side. And then slowly unravel from the arms and reaching the arms up, so a big stretch into the fingertips, and just nod the head yes, no, to see if there's any tension in the head and neck today. And then from side to side as we reach, head moving from left to right, and then up and down. And then slowly letting the arms move back down by the sides of the body. And letting the fingertips rest, the palms rest, the arms rest down by your side. And just stopping and pausing here for a moment to collect yourself, to notice if the mind is still with the body, or perhaps the mind has wandered off to thoughts or planning, thinking, doing. Maybe noticing some emotions bubbling and rising. No matter what's happening in this moment, simply using this opportunity with curiosity and kindness and a non-striving attitude, to not have to be a certain way or to get anywhere in this practice. So just simply being with it, moment to moment. And choosing when you're ready, when it's right, to come back to the sound of my voice, to the guidance of the movement. And placing your awareness back down into the body. And from here, we're going to slowly bring our attention right down to the toes and to the right foot. So I'm going to drop our right knee and just bend it. And then slowly see if we can hug the right knee in now. So taking the legs to hug into the body now. And just getting a little bit of a clasp of the hands just below the kneecap. And moving into this little bit of a bind here where we draw the knee in towards the chest and see how that feels in your body. Stopping and pausing again. Noticing if there's any tightness in the lower leg or if there's tightness in the upper leg. You might want to flex your toes and just get a feel for this position, this shape. Or maybe there's some sensation in the opposite leg through the lower back, the buttocks, and always knowing that you can step into the opposite leg if it feels a little bit too tight or there's too much tension there. Otherwise, you can keep your legs straight. And then from here, we're going to plant our left hand down by our side and take the right knee out, just gently to the side. And as we do so, I'm going to take the right knee out and just let the knee fall down beside us. So like an imaginary tree pose. And if you've got pillows underneath your legs, you might just want to slowly roll them away for the moment. And I'm going to take, as I said, the right knee out and just let the right knee drop down, if it's available, down by your side, where the foot comes in towards the lower calf, or if you like, placing it up a little bit higher towards the upper inner thigh, depending on what your body is happy to do today. I'm going to make an imaginary tree pose if you're familiar with that yoga shape, and if you're not, just standing in an imaginary stance where we're standing into our left foot. It doesn't have to be that active, but we just want to get a little bit of a sensation through the left leg as if we're standing on the left foot. And I'm going to take the arms and clasp the hands together up overhead. And then let the elbows fall out from left to right. And if you want to reach the arms way beyond, you can. If that doesn't feel right in your body, then just keep the elbows nice and bent and the clasped hands close to the forehead here. And wiggling it out. And if you find there's any discomfort in the lower half of the body, through the hip, then you might even wish to wedge a pillow underneath that right thigh. That could be a really nice option for you today, so that you're not just letting that knee fall away. That feels a bit risky. So coming into this imaginary tree pose, or standing on one leg with one knee bent, whatever you're familiar with. Noticing how that feels in the body. And then on your exhale, going to glide the hands down the line of the centre beyond the heart. And then just open the arms out nice and wide. And imagine that we're preparing to open here, just letting the palms face up towards the sky, opening and receiving gravity. Maybe even stopping to pause here again to notice the shape that you've formed in your own body and how it feels to be in this shape, in this present moment. Perhaps just noticing where the mind is at. The mind is with the body, or perhaps the mind has wandered. Again, with this non-judging attitude, just simply observing where the mind is at. If there's any sensations in the body that you might be able to anchor in towards, or perhaps you're choosing to be with the mind and the thoughts. There's no right or wrong, simply allowing yourself this space and time to be with whatever unfolds. This awareness. And then slowly start to draw your right knee back up in towards the centre line. I'm going to step that right leg over. So I'm going to see if we can crisscross the right leg over the left leg here for a moment. Just notice what's happening in the lower half of the body. And then we're going to slowly glide our left leg up. So it's a bit of a transition. We're going to start to feel that left leg bend into the knee. And then just get a little bit rock and roll through the lower body. So just seeing how it feels making this shape. And stopping to pause with the sensations here. So staying here as you wish, or if you feel that there's not a lot of sensation and there's not much for you to anchor onto, if that feels right for you, just to be with this sort of neutral feeling, then stay with that and explore that. Or if perhaps you might like a little bit more sensation in your body, if you're not finding much, then you might even decide to lift the left foot off the ground. And perhaps even going a little bit further, you might even take the hands through and clasp onto the left upper shin and just slowly move into this figure 4 shape. And we're crossing over the top left thigh and hugging in into any sensation in the lower half of the body. Sometimes rocking through sensation can be a nice way of finding the shape. Well, for some of us, coming into stillness is the best way on that particular day, or it's an option that you feel you prefer to take rather than moving and shifting into the shape. So whatever is right for you again in this moment. So as you stop and pause here with all the sensations available, just inquiring here, what's here for me now? Perhaps there might be some sort of level of discomfort here. So we feel the tightness and tension, the back of the buttocks and the back of the thighs. Or perhaps there might be very little tightness and tension here today, and there might be a sense of ease, a sense of letting be and letting go of any resistance. And no matter what's showing up, just taking the opportunity just to be with the sensations as they arise. And just curiously, calmly attending to these sensations. Observing, taking your time to linger here. And then from here, we're going to slowly let go of that bind if you haven't already. So always listening to the body. If something doesn't feel right, then you can always come out of the pose or take the modification as explained as we first come in. So stepping the foot back down onto the earth and the arms, just letting them flow out to your side like a T again. And then from here, keeping the leg crossed, we're going to see if we can roll over and let our lower half of our body twist to the left-hand side. Now, if you know that there's any injuries or lower back niggles, perhaps it might not be feeling right for you today to roll all the way over. So you might choose to have a bolster, or you might choose to have a pillow. And this might be a nice option for you. We're going to roll until we stop onto the bolster. And if crossing your legs makes it really difficult for you today and it's not right, then you might just step knee on top of knee. So just doing what's best for your body again. So bolster is the option, so it's less of an intensity and not feeling so risky or not so edgy. Or if you're not feeling any particular sensation and it feels safe for you, you might just come into the twist if that's in your practice or something you're familiar with and your body has been here before and enjoys this sense of twisting through the side body and the lower half of the body. Then feel free to come into whatever twist is best for you now in this moment. And just gently observing again all the attitudes here, so noticing if there's any striving, perhaps inviting in a sense of non-striving if that's available, if that's possible. And just letting the body choose where it needs to be. Or maybe if we notice that there's no sensation here, what would it be like to invite in some more sensation? How would that feel? And maybe even twisting your eye gaze so it turns away from the knee and looking over the opposite side if you want to continue with this sense of twisting through the torso. Taking what you need in the practice, very gently moving and Just establishing that connection again, that awareness of the body and the breath. Noticing if there's any holding or tensing as we come into these poses. And just noticing what it's like to invite in a sense of softening and letting go, if that's at all available for you. And if there is resistance, perhaps even with kindness and curiosity, visiting this sense of resistance in the body. Noticing where the echoes are on the body. Perhaps they show up as thoughts, or perhaps they show up as emotions. And then taking some time to move and shift the weight back to the centre, arm crossing, unravelling the leg. And just take a little windscreen wipe from left to right to let the lower back ease and to move gently, easefully and mindfully again. Just letting everything come back. And then settling back into centre, letting both legs slowly extend out again. And taking whatever you need. You might need to readjust or reset the body in some way. Just taking a moment to pause, to become aware and awake again to the present moment, particularly if you notice that your mind may have wandered during this time. And just inquiring here where the awareness is flowing. And then taking a moment here to glide your awareness right down to the bottom of your left foot again. And then slowly beginning to bring the left knee in towards the chest. Noticing how that feels. You might need to clasp hold of the left lower leg just to support you here in this pose. Taking your time. Not needing to go fast or slow. Just taking your time when you're ready to following the guide, the voice, the instructions here, just to lead you when you're ready. And then maybe again, if it's available and if you are listening to the sound of my voice, you are being guided, then letting the left knee drop out to the side as we did before, getting a sense of how that feels, and perhaps you might need a little bit of a prop, a cushion underneath that thigh if it feels a little bit edgy or too risky to let the knee roll out and let the hip release. If it feels okay in your body, then just coming into this shape and then noticing the right leg, seeing if we can find a little bit of awareness and attention in the right leg, and maybe even stepping into the right foot as if you were standing into the right leg. And then taking the arms, and as we take the arms, we're going to clasp the hands up overhead, coming into this imaginary tree-like shape. And if it feels safe, or if it feels okay and supportive for you to do so, you might start to extend the arms up overhead, stretching out through the length of the spine. Or if it's better, then you might keep your elbows bent and just allow the palms to hover over the forehead. So taking a few moments to pause with this shape. Noticing what's happening in the body. And expanding awareness from the crown of the head down to the toes. Just exploring the body and all the available sensations. And then gently letting your arms move back down by your side. And see if you can slowly lift that left knee up and plant the left foot down onto the earth, resettling in, becoming aware and awake to the left side of the body. And then we're going to see if we can drag the right knee up and cross the leg over. So left leg crosses over the right leg. Just dragging that leg up. Just seeing what it feels like here to just move very gently through the lower half of the body. And again, taking your time now to shift your weight, your pelvis and your torso, letting it draw the legs over towards the right side. And just exploring the sensation. So being mindful here to take the props that you might need. It might be different on this side. Perhaps you needed props on the other side but not this side, or maybe vice versa. And I'm going to see if we can bolster up the leg if we need it. If you find crossing the legs and going into a twist is too intense, then maybe letting the knees stack one on top of the other. And letting your knees fall over to the right side. This could be a very nice option, or something a little bit more accessible in the body if you're feeling that the bind is feeling a little bit too much today. Otherwise, using the bolster and just noticing now where sensation is arising in the body. And as you do so, just being with that sensation here, stopping and pausing. Readjusting as you need, shifting your weight, shuffling, taking care of the body. Tuning in to the sound of my voice, to this guided practice. And perhaps you might even turn the eye gaze to follow in the opposite direction of the legs. Continue the twist if that feels right for you. And if it doesn't, then keeping the head wherever you need to have it laid, in a neutral position or in the opposite direction, following the line of the legs. Taking care of the body, tuning in, just noticing where the awareness is flowing to now, remembering not needing to judge the experience, but just as it arises and as it unravels, seeing how it is for you moment by moment. It's no right or wrong. Just coming to sit and to practice, observing all that's arising. And very gently allow yourself to come back into the line of the centre and lifting up. So we're just going to finish off as we did before, making sure we do the same on this side, giving it the same attention, and just letting the leg come in a figure four shape. Either the right foot stays on the floor because that might be enough sensation here in your body today because your body is different to mine, or perhaps you might want to explore something different and lift that right thigh up in towards the chest and just gently ease into sensation here. Exploring this with your awareness again and noticing the different effects of the shapes, the different sensations that show up in this moment. Always changing and always shifting. Sometimes familiar sensations, sometimes something a little bit different. Just allowing ourselves as best as we can to be here with all that is arising in the body, noticing the breath. And slowly letting go of this bind, letting the arms relax down by your side and letting that go, letting the knees slowly move and gently from side to side as we just shift the weight in through the lower half of the body, through the pelvis. And then extending the legs and coming back to a sense of being cradled by the earth again. Letting the whole body come into a neutral position. Letting the arms come out to the side, and even the legs can come out a little bit wider, coming into a bit of a star-like shape. And then you might wish to pause here, closing down the eyes again. And if not, that's not the right choice for you today, keeping them open with a soft gaze. And as we begin, I'm going to slowly crisscross the arms over the body and come into a very gentle cuddle-like position where we're reaching across to the backs of the shoulder blades. And then just jiggling here, very small jiggle or whatever movement feels right for you. Holding and moving into this sense of cuddle, sense of reaching across the body here. And then taking the arms away, nice big inhale. Swooping the arms up overhead and crisscrossing in the opposite way. Opposite arm over the top, cuddle pose. Stretching and releasing any tightness or tension that might be here. Noticing any resistance in the upper body. As best as we can, just exploring gently with curiosity. Letting go and just allowing things to be as they are. Just noticing with all our humanness, what's arising, what's showing up for us now, what's it like to be here in this present moment. And then gently let the arms unravel and taking the hands down by your side again in a relaxed position and noticing the whole body now coming back to that expansion of awareness into the whole body. Moving away from tuning in and focusing in on various body shapes and parts and expanding your attention now into the whole body. And just recognizing how the body is for you in this moment by moment experience. What's showing up for you here. And then as you expand your awareness now to include the space that you're inhabiting, just recognizing here the space that you're taking from the room or from wherever you are. And then perhaps starting to tune in to the sense of sounds. And hearing some close noise or sounds closer to the body, or perhaps you might be hearing sounds further away or noises further away outside of the room. So just being curious as to what you can hear in this moment. And then very gently begin to start to open the eyes if they are closed. Inviting in some light, some colours, some shape and texture and shadows. And just getting a feel for the surroundings that you're in, taking it all in with the senses. And perhaps finding a little bit of a stretch to awaken the body, or move in any way that feels good for you today. And you could stay here as we bring this practice to a close if you're feeling happy to be on the ground for a little bit longer. This is where you wish to stay for a few more minutes, or perhaps you might roll over to the side and gently coming back into a seated position, feeling free to be wherever you need to be as we bring this practice to a close. Taking a moment here to find some gratitude for you making this time for yourself. Taking this time just for you. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Monique, and this is the Mindful Movement series. Your practice is now complete.